The chicken sizzled in the fryer as Felicia wiped down table 7 for the third time that hour. Her hands moved mechanically, but her mind was stuck elsewhere on a phone call from 2 years ago that she'd never answered. Her sister's voice on the voicemail. I needed you. These 3 words continued to follow her everywhere, even here, to this cramped Seoul restaurant where grease stained the air and kindness was a luxury nobody could afford. Felicia! Gam Goo's voice cut through the kitchen noise. The manager stood in the doorway, crossing her arms over her designer blazer that screamed money in a place that paid minimum wage. Table 3 needs service, or are you too busy daydreaming about your pathetic life? Gam Goo was 42, impeccably dressed and professionally cruel. She'd climbed her way up from server to manager through a combination of sabotage and strategic blame shifting, though she told everyone it was merit and dedication. Her hair was pulled back so tight it looked painful, and maybe that's why she smiled so rarely. I'm going, Felicia quietly said, grabbing her notepad. You're going? Gam Goo's eyebrow arched. Try yes, Manager Goo, right away. Some of us earned our respect, you know. Felicia bit her tongue and headed to table 3, where Park Jae-sung sat scrolling through his phone. Park wore a Rolex watch, Italian shoes, and an expression that suggested the world existed solely to disappoint him, and he was a regular who treated servers like voice-activated furniture. But it was table 9 that made her stop mid-step. An elderly man sat hunched in the corner booth, wearing layers of filthy clothes that brought the smell of streets and rain clinging to him. His face was weathered, unshaven, but his sharp eyes didn't match the defeated slouch of his shoulders. This was Han Moon, though nobody in the restaurant knew it. The man who owned not just this establishment, but half the underground economy in Seoul, and the same person who'd built an empire on violence and precision, and was now dying from stage 4 cancer that no amount of money could cure. He was here for one reason, to see what happened when power removed its mask. Fried chicken, Han Moon rasped using a deliberately weak voice. The cheapest set, he added. Park Jae-sung snapped his head up. Are you serious? His voice carried across the restaurant. There's a homeless man dining here. Gam Goo! He yelled. Gam Goo appeared instantly, wrinkling her nose. Sir, I'm so sorry for this disruption. I have money, Han Moon interrupted, fumbling in his pockets as he pulled out crumpled bills, slowly counting them. His hands shook, partly from illness and partly from performance. I'm short, just 2001 short. Then you can't order, Gam Goo said flatly. This isn't a charity organisation, old man. Park Jae-sung let out a cruel bark of laughter. This is incredible. I'm filming this. He raised his phone. My followers need to see how low standards have fallen. A beggar in a restaurant. What's next? Rats at the salad bar? Felicia felt something ancient and familiar twist in her chest. The same feeling from that phone call. The same helplessness. Not again. Not this time. I'll cover it, she said, reaching into her apron. The restaurant went quiet. Gam Goo's eyes narrowed dangerously. Excuse me? I said I'll cover the difference. Felicia pulled out 2001 from her tips, the money she'd been saving for her bus fare home. He's a paying customer. How noble, Park Jae-sung sneered, still filming. The hero server saves the day. Men, this is pure gold. Felicia, Gam Goo's voice dropped to a whisper, which was somehow more terrifying than her shouts. After your shift, meet me in my office. But Felicia was already moving, taking Han Moon's order to the kitchen, returning with water, seating him in the corner booth where fewer people would stare, placed a napkin beside his plate and said, The chicken will be ready in 10 minutes. Han Moon studied her face. Why? The question caught her off guard. Why what? She asked. Why help? You don't know me. The old man said. Felicia's hand trembled slightly as she refilled his water. Someone needed help once. I wasn't there and I couldn't do anything about it. But I'm here now. And if I can do something about it, then I don't see a reason why I shouldn't. Something flickered in Han Moon's eyes. Recognition, maybe, or reassessment. He nodded once and said nothing more. The shift ended at 11 and Felicia found Gam Goo waiting in the office, with the security footage paused on her screen. Sit down, Gam Goo ordered, and Felicia sat. You understand? Gam Goo began, hardening her voice, that giving away restaurant resources, be it money, food, or even service, to unauthorized persons constitutes theft? I used my own money, she said. You used company time. You diverted attention from paying customers. And according to this footage, Gam Goo clicked her mouse, and the video jumped forward with clearly missing frames. You were seen taking money from the register. That's not. You edited that, Felicia countered. I have witnesses, I have documentation, and I have a duty to protect this establishment's integrity. Gam Goo leaned forward. You're fired, effective immediately, and if you contest this, I'll ensure you never work in Seoul again. Keep in mind I have friends in HR departments across this city. Felicia stared at the edited footage, at her own face frozen in an act of kindness that had been surgically transformed into crime, and her throat tightened. I see, she muttered. You see, Gam Goo smiled. That's it. Won't you beg? Won't you cry? Would it change anything? Felicia raised a brow. No, but it would be satisfying, Gam Goo said. Felicia stood, removed her apron and quietly walked out to Uber. Han Moon was still outside, huddled against the cold. Felicia paused, then removed her jacket, her only good jacket, and draped it over his shoulders. You'll freeze, he said. I'll survive, sir. I always do. She forced a smile, walking away into the November night, and Han Moon watched her go, raised his phone and began to make phone calls. Park Jae-sung sat in his car, watching the video he'd filmed. The homeless man, the fired girl, what content of gold? His finger hovered over post, but something made him pause. He watched Felicia give away her jacket, watched her walk away without looking back, watched Han Moon's face, and for the first time, Park saw that those weren't the eyes of a victim pin. He quickly deleted the video. The next morning, Han Moon arrived at the restaurant in a black suit with 2 lawyers and a medical chart that showed he had 6 months left to live. Gam Goo's face drained of colour as recognition dawned. The homeless man was Tiona, the legend who'd been rumoured dead for 3 years. Mr. Han, sir, I can explain, she stammered. Explain how you edited security footage to frame an employee for theft. Han Moon's voice was no longer weak. It was glacier cold. My lawyers have the original files, all of them, including 17 other incidents where you've done this. I was protecting your investment. She was being inefficient, Gam Goo said. She was being human and you were being you. He placed a folder on the counter. You're terminated with cause. And since you were so concerned about theft, we'll be auditing every transaction you've approved for the last 5 years. Gam Goo's hands shook as she opened the folder. Her face went white. You can't. I can and I will, so leave. She left. 3 days later, Felicia received a call from an unknown number. Miss Felicia, this is Attorney Kim and I represent Han Moon. He'd like to meet with you. They met in a cafe that smelled of expensive coffee and quiet secrets. Han Moon looked different in daylight, smaller, frailer, but his eyes remained sharp. I'm rewriting my will, he said without preamble. I'm dying, and I've spent 40 years building something that rewards people like Gam Goo and punishes people like you. I want to change that. I don't understand, Felicia blinked. I'm placing this restaurant in trust. I need someone to testify about what happened, someone to ensure the next generation runs things differently. It won't be easy. You'll be investigated, questioned, and what's more, people will call you opportunistic. Why me? She asked. Because you paid for fried chicken when nobody was watching, because you gave away your jacket when you'd already lost everything, because you were kind to me. He leaned forward. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a reward. I'm offering you responsibility. But the question is, can you live with what comes next? Felicia thought of her sister's voicemail, of showing up too late, and of all the moments she'd chosen safety over courage. Yes, she said, I can. Good, because this time you won't be walking away. The restaurant changed ownership structures the following month, and Felicia became accountable. Han Moon died 3 months later, but his empire shifted direction, not towards saints, but toward people who understood that power without conscience was just cruelty in expensive clothes. Park Jae-sung never filmed another viral moment. He'd seen his own reflection in Han Moon's eyes and hadn't liked what looked back. And Felicia? She finally answered her sister's calls. Some debts you pay forward, some you pay back because the hardest ones require you to do both.